Joining us tonight, we have a very special interview with the band Nautics. How's it going, guys? So why don't you guys take a moment to introduce yourselves and I guess tell us what position you're in the band?
Hello, my name is Kenzo, and I guess I'm the singer I'm the singer and guitarist of Nautics. I guess like the front person, you might say, but we're all front people in this band. Next.
Name's Amir. I play keys, and if I've eaten all my vegetables, I get to play guitar sometimes.
I'm Levitt, and I'm the drummer of this band, Nautics, yeah.
I'm Van. I stand to the right of Kenzo, and I play bass.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming, guys. Why don't we get into some questions here? How did Nautics get started?
I guess I'll take that one for the team. We started in 2015. Van was sort of the link between all four of us. The other two had been in a sort of, I guess you would call it like a music class or program after school with Van, called Replay, and they did that for quite some time. So they knew each other. Van and them already had a sort of musical relationship going on, and I had nothing to do with the band at that point. I didn't even have an interest in doing music. And then I got to see a friend of mine actually perform at Webster Hall, sort of a couple months before we started. And I was really taken aback by the performance and just the whole atmosphere and the sort of band community that I saw in that one instance. And immediately the next day, I'm pretty sure I saw Van in class and was like, hey, I know you have a band. Can I please be part of that in some way? And one thing led to another, and we just organized a practice, and that's sort of where we started initially.
Well, that's awesome. What inspires most of your music?
I can give a brief, my part of an answer. I don't think there's any one thing that so I think the way we write music is very individual to begin with. So one of us will be working on our own. We'll come up with a demo, whether that's chords and a beat or a bass line or something. And that's very, personally motivated. But then, that person will bring the idea or the demo to the group, and we'll all work on it together. And there, I think we're very self-influential and we're very constructive. We have this rule that we follow most of the time, unless it's something really heinous, where we try every idea, at least try every idea that somebody has. And if it sounds bad, everybody kind of agrees that it sounds bad. But if it sounds good, we run with it. So our influences, very personal, what you listen to, what we listen to depends. But I think, when we come together, we influence each other really positively. So I take great inspiration from all these guys.
Well, it sounds like you guys are a great team. What makes Nautics different from other bands?
Boy, I wish I knew. I think typically, that's a hard question for us to answer. I think someone listening to us would probably have a better answer, hopefully. But I think something that we pride ourselves in that maybe I hope to see in other bands along the way is a sense of community and a sense of bringing an aspect of the performance and a relationship between the audience and us, to be as close of a connection as possible and sort of as intertwined a connection as possible. And I think that's something that we've always personally strived for. And musically, obviously, we have whatever our own sound, and I wish I could define it, and maybe someone who listens to us would have a better answer of what we sound like. But in terms of our sort of artistic morals, I think genuinely we always strive to create something new the next time we do anything. And we always strive to make something new that's also good for the person on the other end that's listening. And I mean, I hope and I think that sorry, there's a truck passing by. And I hope that all bands do that, but I think that's something that we specifically is sort of our moral artistic code going into anything we make.
All right, nice. So why don't you guys talk about Thoughts on the Ceiling and the excellent work you guys did for the food bank in New York City?
Yeah, so we had originally made the song well before we had thought about donating, but we had donated to other organizations before. We're like very big on donating to organizations that we research and we find like a meaning to. And I was thinking about it as we were getting closer to the release of Thoughts, and I brought the idea to the others, and I was like, maybe we should donate the proceeds somewhere. And they were like, okay, just research an organization and then come back to us with the information. So I was researching a bunch of different ones, and I read the mission statement for the food bank of New York City, and I really like felt impacted by it. And I wanted to help out fellow New Yorkers get food, especially during COVID. And COVID is still happening, but this was like right in March when it was at its height, at least in the city, to my knowledge. And so I wanted to help there, and I brought the information back to them, and they thought it was pretty good. So that's how that started. And then I created a partnership with them.
Awesome. Well, that was a really great thing you guys did. How has the music writing process been with the whole COVID situation? Has it affected it in any way?
I think, well, it's easy to focus on the negatives, obviously. I mean, and it's mostly negatives because we're all spaced out, but I'll like, for us, at least personally, I'll try and be positive. I think we've practiced writing at a distance a lot. And at least personally, I think when you have so much time on your hands, you end up actually experimenting with new techniques and doing a lot of research because, you know, you browse the internet and obviously stuff just leads in a certain direction. So you end up just finding techniques online and you're like, wow, I never actually thought of that. And you start, I know Amir earlier in quarantine was talking a lot about 11th chords or 9th. I forget what they were. Similar things, but not similar things. But it basically, like, we came from there and we were like, oh, well, we could make a song like that. And I'd been, working on some things with like production and how in gain staging and stuff. So then we combined that and then we made a demo. It was like 2 months ago. And, it was something really cool. And then we were able to send it to Kenzo. And then Kenzo added some vocals to it, or he's still adding vocals, but either or. So it kind of became a process where like we were actually able to use new skills we acquired and then communicate with each other over the internet, which I thought was cool.
Great. One question. Do you guys come up with your own concepts for music videos?
Most of the time we do. We've definitely had collaborators. We've had just all types of people in the past. There's a guy, Joshua, that we've worked with before, and my partner, Hope, worked on a video. And then we've had other people sort of like come up to us with ideas, and hopefully in the future things sort of we get to collaborate a little bit more than we have in the past. And I think that door is going to be starting to open up again, which is nice. And we're grateful that we have people who are always interested in working on the visual stuff, which is really cool. But as for the last few videos, most of those were like done in my house or in our houses during quarantine, just like with an iPhone mostly, and the one that we just put out, I animated all on my laptop. So anything that can be done with no human interaction is probably the best option we have for the foreseeable future. But hopefully things will start to open up and be a little bit safer collaboratively.
Awesome. Well, speaking of that latest music video, what made you guys go with animation for bricks?
So that was actually I got a notification for an update with Adobe Animate, and I had never animated anything before. So and that was about a week or so ago. How long did it take me to do that? Like a week or something? Like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm not a god. But
Neither
but
am I.
we don't know. So so I downloaded it and I was messing around and I was sort of showing them test footage or test animation. And one thing led to another and we were like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then we just all agreed that an animated video would be cool. So I took the test footage and I kept adding to it. And then we just kept agreeing that it was working. So, yeah, it was a pretty organic and fluid process throughout, and it was very unplanned. I think as much as that's kind of oxymoronic for an animated video,
Yeah.
but it was very kind of on a whim. Like this is kind of cool, and why not? Like we'd talked about wanting to do more artsy or visual stuff, so it just kind of fit into place. And we're happy with how it turned out, I hope.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, I've seen just a little bit of it already, and I got to say, it looks amazing.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being with us. Later tonight, we will actually get to take a look at Nautics' music video for their single Bricks. So stay tuned for that. Up next, we will get to hear from this week's panel. All right, take care, guys.